This is a career. It's
Okay.
not a job. I've been doing it for 39 years.
I love that you emphasized it's not just a job.
I started my career very young. My husband was in college. I was the sole provider for the house for 4 years on a dental assistant salary. I've raised 2 children, put 2 kids through college. It wasn't as bad as people might think it was. I want dental assistants to know this is a sustainable career. You can retire from being a dental assistant. This is not necessarily a stepping stone to hygiene or to being a dentist.
I know every president has something they want to get accomplished during their term. What is that for you?
Hygienist and dentist are being able to take their licenses to different states and work. When I go to another state, either I can't work in that state or I have to start all over with certifications and whatever the requirements are. Well, that's kind of crazy. That really affects families' bottom lines. Why can't assistants do that? Well, the reason is because we don't have a universal license. Every single dental assistant being required to have some level of education and certification to enter the field. I think we need to start there.
Why does ADAA matter to me?
Whenever you're going through anything or you need help, you have a tribe behind you. The ADAA is there for you.
Dental assistants are often the key to a patient accepting treatment or not. You're a key part of the patient journey, and so is Care Credit, a health and wellness credit card with flexible financing options so patients can pay over time for care they want or need, subject to credit approval. Want to know how to make sure Care Credit is a part of your practice's offerings? Email me at kevin@kevinspeaksdental.com and I'll make sure to help. That's kevin@kevinspeaksdental.com to make sure Care Credit is a part of your practice's offerings. Hey everybody, welcome back into another edition of the Dental Assistant Nation podcast. My name is Kevin Henry. I am the founder of Dental Assistant Nation. So glad you've joined us as always, and I'm thankful to Care Credit for their sponsorship of this podcast. And I'm also thankful to be joined today by Erin Hendricks, who is the current president of the American Dental Assistants Association, ADAA. Erin, how's it going today?
Pretty good, Kevin. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate this.
I'm glad to have you on. I always want ADAA to do well. I want the members to know that there is a voice for them. And I know that's one of the things that you want as well. And we're going to dive into all that in just a minute. But before we do, I'd love for us just a little bit more about you.
All right. Again, my name is Erin Hendricks. I am a dental assistant here in the Washington, D.C. area. I started my career 39 years ago in the United States Air Force. My first duty station was here at Bolling Air Force Base and then Andrews, and that was my completed tour. I've been assisting. Once I got out of the military, I immediately went into civilian life as a dental assistant, and clearly I have loved it ever since.
Well, I want to say thank you for your service, first of all. Appreciate that so much.
Absolutely.
And what drew you to dental assisting and what kept you in dental assisting?
That's a very good question. So initially what drew me was a terrible experience I had as a child in the dental chair. I decided after that terrible experience that I wanted to become a dentist so I could be nice to all the little kids who came in to the dental office. But at that time, looking at the cost involved with becoming a dentist was a lot. It was probably double or tripled in the last since I looked into it. My alternative was to get into the dental office somehow, and dental assisting became attractive. Now, back then, there weren't a lot of dental assisting schools or programs, so the only one that I found was within the military. So I chose the Air Force. That was one of the 3 of the militaries that had dental assisting as an MOS. So I went into the Air Force, did the training, and loved it. clearly. And what has kept me, why didn't I go on to dental school or hygiene school? That's always a question I get,
Yeah.
especially when I'm working with patients. It's why didn't you just go to dental school? Well, because number one, I liked the position that I played. I liked the role that I play in the delivery of oral health care. Would I make a lot more money? Sure, absolutely. That's no question. However, I felt like this position was super important. And for the passion that I have for the field, I thought I could probably do a really good job in this role. So that's what's kept me in the passion for the industry. And then every single space that I've worked in has been super supportive of my role. And that makes a huge difference. So that's what's kept me.
There's a lot of dental assistants that agree with you. They would love
Yes.
that kind of support in where
Yes.
they are right now. So let me ask you, how did you get involved with ADAA? Let's ask that question.
Well, so as a dental assistant, I got involved probably about only 10 years ago. To be quite honest, it was by accident. I was looking for a professional association for dental assistants because I had seen where the hygienist had their association,
Mhm.
the dentist had theirs, but I didn't know of one for assistants. And my actual thought was if I can't find one, I was going to start one.
Mhm.
So I went hunting interweb and came across the my local chapter actually because I was looking for something in the area. And once I found the local chapter, they turned me on to the national chapter, and I've been with them ever since.
We hear about organized dentistry and how that, from ADA to ADHA to ADAA, it's tough to keep people involved, tough to keep them excited about it. What is it that drew you to wanting to be a part of this collective, and why should other dental assistants want to be a part of that as well?
Well, the first was, yay, it's a professional association just for me.
Mhm.
So everything about it is going to be pertinent to me and my career. And what drew me into becoming more than a member was the fact that I could have an impact. I can make changes or at least start the ball rolling on making changes that I saw that needed to be done within the dental assistant world. One was making sure that assistance anywhere knows about this organization, a place where you can come and every single person in this organization can relate to anything that you're talking about. And then just understanding, oh, okay, there's a board of directors that I can join that would help facilitate whatever it is the needs are that we have for dental assistants across the US. And then lastly, becoming president, I believe it was because of so much involvement that I had as a board member, so many ideas and so many things that I could put into place
Mhm.
and my experiences. That's when the board asked me to run. And I had honestly never thought about being the president until I was asked by my peers to do it. And then I said yes. And so here I am.
So I know every president has something they want to get accomplished during their term. What is that for you?
So my number one sort of thing that I wanted to get going on was universal licensing and certification for all dental assistants across the US. Just every single dental assistant being required to have some level of education and certification to enter the field. I think we need to start there. Now, this organization is 100 years old,
Mhm.
and we have been talking about it even before I joined up. Apparently, that was a thing, but it was a task to try to figure out how do we do it. So that was my mission, is to learn how these things come about, how licensing and certifications come about. Who do you contact? How do you get the ball rolling? And once I did that, it wasn't as easy as I thought. Like, oh, we'll just go and I'm right here in DC. Well, I'll just go down and talk to the powers that be and they'll completely understand. But it's not that simple. I realize now it's going to take years for this to come into place because it has to go through each state. Then there's a lot to it. But I'm okay with somebody had to go first. And so I was fine with being that someone to get it started.
It's funny you mentioned being in DC, and that was one thing I was going to ask you was you're so close to the center of everything whenever it comes to advocacy, whenever it comes to getting things done. How important is it for ADAA to have a voice whenever it comes to dental assistants, even those who aren't members?
super important because this is what we're here to do. Our mission is to serve, be in the best interest of our membership of dental assistants across the US. And I'm fairly certain that all dental assistants want to see this happen because here's the deal. And my first mindset was military. And here's the reason why the universal licensing was always in the back of my mind. So, say I'm a military spouse and my spouse gets orders and we now have to move to a different state. And I'm a dental assistant. I'm working as a dental assistant in this state. Well, what happens when I go to another state is I have to start all over. Either I can't work in that state or I have to start all over with certifications and whatever the requirements are for that state. And I thought, well, that's kind of crazy. That really affects families' bottom lines. So I thought to myself, especially when the compact came around now that hygienists and dentists are being able to take their licenses to different states and work, I thought, well, why can't assistants do that? Well, the reason is because we don't have a universal license to start with. So let's just start there. And I thought, okay, this could be a good thing, period, for people who might be interested in moving around anyway. I mean, listen, we have travel dentists, we have traveling hygienists, but we don't have traveling assistants. And that's a whole nother situation. But at least if we started with a universal certification and licensing process for that's accepted state to state, that's a start.
You mentioned the compact. The Dental Assisting National Board is out there. There's a lot of entities whenever it comes to dental assisting and a lot of people trying to get things done as well. How does ADAA work with these different entities to make sure everybody's on the same page and that everybody's trying to accomplish the same thing maybe for dental assistants?
Very good question. So for me, it was a matter of collaborating with all these other dental organizations, DANB, ADEA,
Uh-huh.
the ADA, the ADHA, just making sure that I made contact and let these other entities know what we were thinking about doing and trying to get them on board. And so far, no one said, yeah, that doesn't make sense. Everybody's been on board. It's how can I help? And that's been a great, great experience. I'm so happy to see that everybody sort of feels the same way about this role and this position.
So here's the big question for you. I'm a 26-year-old dental assistant in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I clock in, I clock out, I go home. Why does AADAA matter to me?
Well, number one, whenever you're going through anything or you need help or you just want to talk to somebody else who might be in the same position as you have a tribe behind you. Anything that you need education wise, you have that access. If there are ideas that you may have that you might be thinking about doing or need help with, there are other assistants out there who may have the same idea. You just don't know it because you're working in Tulsa, Oklahoma, clocking in and clocking out. Well, how about if you had an entire tribe behind you to help support you in whatever it is that you need? The ADAA is there for you.
All right, big question here. We've talked about a lot of stuff. What's something we haven't talked about that you really want to get across to dental assistants?
That this is a career. It's
Okay.
not a job. I've been doing it for 39 years. Chairside, I've done a lot of different positions in the office, but this is a actual career. This is not necessarily a stepping stone to hygiene or to being a dentist. It's an actual career that you can. I've raised two children, put two kids through college. I'm married, but the fact of the matter is, in the beginning, I started my career very young. My husband was in college. I was the sole provider for the house for 4 years on a dental assistant salary,
Oh.
and it worked. And there wasn't things that we wanted for. It wasn't as bad as people might think it was. I mean, we took vacations. We did things. I want dental assistants to know this is a sustainable career. You can retire from being a dental assistant. Absolutely.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I know pay is one of the things that is the bane of so many dental assistants' existence. And it's one of the reasons why, you got that question about why didn't you become a hygienist or a dentist or something like that. And I think that's what a lot of dental assistants get asked as well. And they have it in the back of their head also.
Right. Exactly. And I think with the pay issue, I think once we start bringing more, I don't want to say legitimacy to the profession, but that's the only word that I can think of right now, but making it so that the general public and the dental industry understands the importance of this role.
Yeah.
And once we get to the point where there's a universal license, I think we can get to the point where there's a starting salary that would be commensurate with that. And then being able to move up that salary ladder like I did. Like I have a whole presentation on how to do that. And like I said, it is sustainable. It is something that you could do as a career and retire from it. It's just about being very strategic in your moves and where you work and making sure you get your point across to the powers that be, dentist. And this is another reason why I have a good working relationship with the ADA. It's getting them to understand the importance of the role and how important it is for them to be very supportive, not just of the hygienist, but the dental assistants as well.
Well, Erin, let people know where they can learn more about the ADAA if they don't already know.
All right. Well, you can visit the website adaausa.org and go and navigate the website. There's lots of things that you can go and check out. There are articles, there's journals. There you can see what the education kind of looks like. You can meet the board and the leadership of ADAA and figure out how you can get involved. On that website, you can also check out and see if there's a local chapter in your state.
Absolutely. And we're going to put that in the show notes so it's real easy for you to find. And I'm also going to encourage you. ADAA is something, as Erin said, has been around for more than 100 years. We want it to keep going for the next 100 as well. So obviously, make sure you check out the benefits, check out the things that ADAA can help you with, dental assistants, to have an amazing career. I love that you emphasized it's not just a job. So
Absolutely.
Erin, thanks for your time today. It's always good to catch up with you, and obviously, wish you all the success in the world.
Thank you.
And thanks to all of you for listening to this episode of the Dental Assistant Nation podcast. Absolutely. ADAA is a key part of dental assisting all over the United States. I want to make sure that you know about that. For our international listeners, I want to make sure that you get in touch with your country's dental assistant association as well. Our friends in Canada, South Africa, wherever you may be, make sure that you're involved because dental assistants need to have a voice and it needs to be a strong voice.
Absolutely.
Till next time, it's Kevin Henry, founder of Dental Assistant Nation, signing off, and as always, wishing you nothing but success.